المصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا. Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Ya Wasi al-Karami.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of a new program that is known by the Signs of the Hour. And this is a live show, which means that we can interact, you can ask your questions, but because the topic is so vast and huge, and we have only 5 days a week during the month of Ramadan, inshallah, starting from today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of every week during the month of Ramadan. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue in the last 10 nights of Ramadan or not. This is still a bit vague to me. But because the topic is too vast, we will open the lines for your calls if there are any questions regarding the topic or something that is related to it. If, inshallah, you have questions, the phone lines will be dedicated after half an hour or 24 minutes, that is, from now. So at 3:30 local time, Saudi time, inshallah, we will be taking your calls if you have any questions to ask. The signs of the hour. Why is it so important that we would dedicate a program for it? Don't we have a lot of more important things to discuss? Well, first of all, you all know that there are 5 pillars of Islam, and there are 6 pillars of Iman, of belief. And one of the pillars of belief is to believe in the day of resurrection. So what does that mean? It means that you have to believe that there will come a day that Allah Azza wa Jal would bring all those whom He had created and hold them accountable for what they had done in this life. And anything that is related to the hereafter, anything that is related to the day of judgment or the day of resurrection or the hour, anything that is related to it, it is part of this pillar, the belief in the day of judgment. So when we talk about the signs of the hour, when we talk about the blowing in the trumpet, which annihilates all living creatures, and the blow of the trumpet again, when every creature would be resurrected, and it is the day of reckoning. When we talk about the resurrection, about the gathering of the creation, all the creatures in one open plaza, and they would be displayed to Allah Azza wa Jal. When we talk about being held accountable, when we talk about the scales and how Allah Azza wa Jal would weigh deeds, would weigh individuals, would weigh their records, and these scales have a tongue that speaks with it, and it has eyes that looks with it. When we talk about the sirat and the path that all the Muslims and the hypocrites as well would have to pass over, and it is erected or it is found on top of hell. So whoever passes is saved, and whoever doesn't falls into hell. When we talk about paradise, heavens, and we talk about hell, all of what governs these issues, this is part of the belief in the day of resurrection. And because it's important, Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned it in the Quran and in the Sunnah. And so many times you find in the Quran those who believe in Allah and the day of judgment or the day of resurrection. The Prophet so many times tells us, alayhi salatu wasalam, it is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah and the day of judgment to travel without a mahram. So many hadith. Whoever believes in Allah and in the day of judgment, he should say good things or refrain from talking. He should honor his guest. He should not harm his neighbor. So the Prophet, so many hadiths connects the day of judgment and the belief of it to the belief in Allah Azza wa Jal. And a Muslim, and when we talk about a Muslim, I'm not mentioning those who are not practicing. When we say a Muslim, we mean a Muslim who is practicing, who is adhering to the instructions of the Quran and Sunnah, who is living Islam. When you see him, you think that this is Islam reincarnated, in the sense that whatever he does, it relates to Islam. And whatever he refrains from, it goes against Islam. So you have to know exactly what do we mean when we say a Muslim. So when you look at a Muslim, you find that his life is different than any other human being. Because the things that govern his life are limited. Yet his perception of life is unlimited, neither by time nor by place. A Muslim believes that this world we're living in is a temporary phase, 60 years, 80 years, 100 years at most, and then you're going to die. But your death inaugurates your eternal life. So we look at this life as a transient life. It is passing by. It is not a place for us to stay. It's like a person traveling 1,000 miles, and after 100 miles, he goes into a gas station, fills his car up, buys a sandwich, and moves on. No one, once he pulls at a gas station, no one would start to erect a building and to reside there, because this is just a station. So a Muslim, he looks at this life in such a fashion. Time-wise and also location-wise, this world we're living in is so limited, it's so small. My objective as a Muslim is a paradise that Allah Azza wa Jal promised those who do well and believe in Him and follow the Prophet Azza wa Salam. This paradise, Allah told us that the width of it is like the heavens and the earth. And Allah did not disclose to us how long it is. So if the width is as big as the heavens and the earth, then this is definitely a place that we want to be in, and we know that it would satisfy all the things that we were patient and tolerated on this life. This is different to someone who does not believe in the Day of Judgment. And when I say someone who does not believe in the Day of Judgment, this might be because he is a non-Muslim, or his belief does not excel and does not reach the level that the Quran and the Sunnah tell us to be. So you could have a Muslim, but not a practicing Muslim. And his belief in the Day of Judgment is very little, and that is portrayed in how he acts and behaves in his life. Therefore, your belief in the Day of Judgment varies. You have people who know for sure and they're certain of the presence of the Day of Judgment, and that is why you find it showing in every single thing they do in their lives. And you have someone who is medium rare. He does things that go in accordance to his belief of the Day of Judgment, such as praying, fasting, maybe he does some charity work, but at the same time, he is so indulged in lusts and desires that as if he thinks that he's living forever and there is no accountability. And there are those who do not believe in the Day of Judgment altogether. So they live their lives in chaos. And this is so much different than a proper practicing Muslim. The way they look at things is different. The weight and the scale that a Muslim weigh things is different than the other who do not believe in the day of judgment. Muslims fear the punishment of Allah and they hope for the reward and the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. So that is why they always balance. They do well and they stay away from what is not good. And you can see this portrayed in a Muslim's way of life. Whenever calamities fall upon him, whenever there are tribulations, you will see his steadfast on Islam. You will see his strength of Iman. You will see his tolerance and being patient when calamities strike, because he knows that Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty, is the one who rewards. And he knows that what Allah Azza wa Jal has stored for us is much better than this life that we live in. And the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, in an authentic hadith, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. So strange and wonderful the affairs of the believer. When he's struck by a calamity, he is patient and he praises Allah, and this is good for him. And when he's struck by favors and blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal, he is grateful and he praises Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is good for him, and this is only for the believer. A mu'min, a true practicing Muslim, is the only one who gets the rewards, whether he's struck by calamities or he's blessed by favors of Allah Azza wa Jal, because he's all the time praising Allah Azza wa Jal, anticipating for the reward, knowing that he will one day meet Allah Azza wa Jal and he will be rewarded for his tolerance. A true practicing Muslim, because he believes in the day of judgment, because he believes in the hour, he extends the good things he does to reach out for the whole of humanity. So a true practicing Muslim, if I were to be a true practicing Muslim, I would love goodness to happen to everyone, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Not only that, I would even try to be useful and to do good to animals. This is part of our religion. We don't have to have committees for animal rights. We have this in our religion. And this is not the time I would have explained it much further, but for an example. And this shows you how the belief in the day of judgment increases your awareness of everything around you. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, the second caliph, said that if a mule, an animal, tripped in Iraq, I'm in Medina, 3,000, 2,000 miles away from me, if a mule tripped in one of the streets, one of the roads of Iraq, because it was not paved, I would have been afraid that Allah Azza wa Jal would hold me accountable for that. See, the fear of the day of judgment and the certainty, the knowledge that you're going to meet your Maker and you're going to be held accountable, made Umar, who is the second caliph and one of the best companions of the Prophet ﷺ, perfect his actions as a ruler, as a leader, to the extent that he would instruct his people, his subordinates working under him, to maintain the roads and streets of far Iraq so that even a mule would not trip in it. And if you look at our streets, if you look at our projects, if you look at all the construction work done in the Muslim world and see the amount of corruption and see the amount of destruction and lack of commitment, you understand and you reckon that those who are managing such projects do not truly and actually believe in the day of judgment. Otherwise, they would not have been bribed. They would have not had done an awful work where cars cannot even drive through, and we would not be the laughingstock of the whole world because of our mismanagement and corruption. Now, if you go and compare apple to apple, those who do not believe in the Day of Judgment, you would find them lost because they are working their level best to attain what they can get from this world. This is their objective. They care only about themselves. They only live once. And you always hear this, you only live once. And this is completely wrong. As Muslims, we believe that this is not our life. Our life is up there. It's eternity. It's not 1,000 years. It's not 1,000,000 years. It's not a gazillion years. It's endless. So it is wrong when you don't believe in the Day of Judgment and you think that this is the only life you are living. And that is why they go out of their way, being selfish, trying to do whatever pleases them and fulfills their lusts and desires in acquiring money, in getting fame, even if it was through means that would kill them, means that would end their lives or destroy it the least. Doing drugs, partying all time, thinking that tomorrow will never come. And this is all due to the fact that they have based all their knowledge on wrong info and wrong intel. It is exactly that, like a person who puts the wrong coordinates for his GPS and he sets off. He ends up in another city and he is shocked. Why am I here and not there? Well, because the intel was wrong. The info you programmed was wrong. And that is why you work so hard in this life. You do so many things thinking that you're doing well. And when death comes, you find that you took the wrong detour. And that is why they're always lost. They're worthless. They have no value for their lives. One would say, okay, look at them. They're so organized. They're so developed. They're so civil. Well, actually, this is all due to the strength of the law that governs their lives. If they did not have laws, if they had their way to do something, bend the laws a little bit or break them if they want, but without being held accountable, believe me, they would. And just go and review history. Look at the chaos that took place in New York when, like 15 years ago or 20 years ago, when lights went off for 10 hours. Look at the looting, the rape, the killing from civilized people. Last year, what happened, or a year or so plus, in Birmingham, in London, the riots that the kids did, and they went on the rampage. They looted, they done things that were against the law because they thought that they can get away with it. So when you look at the non-Muslims, whatever you see is not the result of a culture. It is not the result of a civilization. It is the rule of law, which Muslims have. Unfortunately, they're not true practicing Muslims, and that is why they don't have laws. In Muslim countries, you have a lot of corruption, and no one holds them accountable. You don't see governments toppling because of the corruption. You don't see people held accountable for their shortcomings and wrong acts that not only affect themselves, but it affects the whole community, the whole country, maybe the whole region. So don't be impressed by what you see. Don't think that this is civilization or development or progress. This is a temporary phase. It is at almost the top of the curve, and then the downfall is coming soon. Whenever you see that all what they want is to dominate, whenever you see them controlling other countries and other people, embezzling them, sucking their goods and taking everything that the earth produces from these countries that they've conquered, that they have dominated for so many years, and they've humiliated the people, like the Western powers had done in the previous 100 and 150 years, and still doing. Maybe not through physical means, but through domination, through other means. When you see this, and you look at their civilization, you look at their social well-being, and you see that there are lots of fornication, no marriage constitutions, that everyone is living for himself. You reach to the stage when an individual has problems and has calamities beyond his tolerance, the easiest way for him to evade and escape this is a bullet in his head. So you find them committing suicide, thinking that, okay, this is the only life we have. After death, there's nothing. That is why the easiest way out for them in a calamity is to commit suicide. That is why, and they don't know that it is the least of their problems what they find in this world, because after death, it's going to be worse and worse till eternity, not only for a few years. It's going to be so much in increasing their punishment and their torment because they did not believe. Now, all of this is regarding the importance of the belief in the Day of Judgment, the Day of Resurrection. Before the Day of Judgment comes, there is something that is called the hour, as-sa'ah. And what is the hour? An hour is a portion of the day and night. We know it as 60 minutes. It can also be in Arabic a period of time. But why did Allah Azza wa Jal mention to us as-sa'ah, the hour? Scholars say because it happens over an instant. It happened just like this. No one is anticipating it. Though you've seen a lot of its signs, but still, I think we have a little bit more to go. And the hour itself has two meanings, in the sense that each one of us as individuals, we have our own hour. So when my time comes, then this is my hour. But in general terms, the hour is the time where the Day of Resurrection will take place. And Allah Azza wa Jal is so kind and merciful, He gave us signs to know that it is approaching. And the hour itself, the signs of it were mentioned in the Quran, were also mentioned in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in a great number of hadiths. For example, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in 47:18, do they then await anything other than the hour, that it should come upon them suddenly? But some of its signs have already come. From this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us, what are you waiting for? Aren't you afraid that it's going to come suddenly? Well, a number of its signs have already come. And we will talk, inshallah, in detail about the signs that had taken place. And we will, inshallah, explain that thoroughly to the best of my knowledge and ability, and inshallah, as long as the time permits us to do so. Also, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in chapter 54, and this chapter is titled Al-Qamar, the moon. Allah tells us the hour has drawn near and the moon has been cleft asunder. It has been split into two parts. And this is one of the great signs that took place. And Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned that clearly in the Quran, that the hour is near. It has drawn near. And finally, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us about the second coming of Jesus Christ, of Isa ibn Maryam. Isa, the son of Mary, peace be upon him and upon his mother. Allah tells us in the Quran in 43:61, and he shall be a known sign for the coming of the hour, that is the Day of Judgment. Therefore have no doubt concerning it. His descension, his second coming, is a clear sign of the hour is so near. And his second coming is one of the 10 major signs of the hour, because we have minor signs and we have major signs, and we will come to discuss this Insha'Allah. Now it's 3:30. I believe that you will find the phone lines displayed, Insha'Allah. And if you have any questions, go ahead and call. And while waiting for your questions, I will continue, Insha'Allah, to mention some of the signs of the hour in the hadith and the importance of studying such a science. Because a lot of the times people ask, why discuss the sign of hours or the signs of hour at this crucial moment? The Muslims are being killed in Syria. The Muslims are being slaughtered in Burma, Myanmar, the Arakan, the Rohingya. And unfortunately, nobody highlights this. A brother came to me yesterday in the masjid, and he said, in Dua al-Qunut, in Taraweeh, we hear all the brothers, the imams, supplicate against the Syrian regime, the infidel Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad and the criminals surrounding him. And everybody in the masjid saying, Ameen, Ameen. But nobody is calling Allah Azza wa Jal and supplicating to help our brothers in Myanmar. Why is that? I told him straightforward, the Imam was wrong. This is a great calamity that we should all supplicate, not in masjids, even in our homes. We should supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal to grant victory to our brothers in Burma, at least so that they would not be slaughtered, to be given an honorable life, to be given a citizenship instead of just being there without any identity, to be given the chance to be educated, to have health care, to have a proper and dignified life. They cannot find the food to eat. So this is wrong. We should all supplicate for them. Not only that, we should also support them with all the money and the wealth they need to maintain a dignified life. However, it will come, inshallah, later on, we will come to discuss the importance of the Sham area, which is Syria, Palestine, Jordan, and Lebanon. This area is a blessed area. Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned it in the Quran, and He told us that all what's around it is a blessed area. The Prophet told us that the people will be resurrected from there, and all the final signs of the hour will happen, or almost of it will happen there, when Jesus Christ would fight the Antichrist, the Dajjal, and he would kill him in Palestine, and how all the fights between the Muslims and the Romans, or the Christians mainly, would take place in the great battle. And we will come to mention this, inshallah, if time allows us, with the grace of Allah. We have a caller from Dubai, Brother Jihad. Okay. Sister Sultan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
How are you, Sheikh? Eid Mubarak. Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to you as well. Jazakallah khair.
Sheikh, I wanted to ask that I'm aware that a woman has to make up for a fast both due to menstruation and childbirth, before and after pregnancy. I tried to make up my missed fast, but I have not yet succeeded. I just wanted to know that am I in sin that I have not completed my missed fast up till now and the new Ramadan has approached? Because,
why?
Even this Ramadan I'm unable to keep all the fast because I'm pregnant again.
Okay.
So can I just feed the poor and still complete my fast when I am, able to do it, or no, I'll be in sin until I finish my fast?
I will answer your question, inshallah. Sister Sultana had a question, though it's not related to the signs of the hour, but she's asking that she missed days from previous Ramadans due to legitimate reasons such as pregnancy, nursing her child, or to any other reason. So now Ramadan is due. Is she sinful for the days missed that she was not able to make up? The answer is no. As long as you were not able to make it up. So if a woman gets pregnant, she misses a whole Ramadan. Then she's nursing for 2 years. She misses another 2 Ramadans. And then immediately afterwards, she's pregnant again. So this could go on for like 14, 15 years. Is she permitted to feed a poor person for every day she missed, or she must wait until she has no obstacles and she has nothing to prevent her from fasting and then make up? The answer is, the majority of scholars say you have to wait until you have no excuses, legitimate excuses, and then you should make up for the days. So if it's 150 days, 200 days, after 5-10 years when you don't have any cause to prevent you from fasting, you should do this, inshallah. Okay, we have Brother Saad from the Emirates.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله شيخ.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف الحال شيخ؟
حياك الله أخي.
I just have, brother, 3 questions, Sheikh.
Okay.
Please, I won't take too much of your time. First of all, the question is, Sheikh, the salah that we missed in the time of Jahiliyyah, we have to make that up or not? That's the first question.
Okay.
Okay? The second question, Sheikh, for our brothers that listen to music, if we don't have time in this show, maybe in another show you can say, is the music haram or not, and like present some things from the Quran and from the Sunnah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
That's the second question. And the third question, Sheikh, like the people who do niswar and smoking and like other things. So I just want to ask for my brothers here, that is that haram or is that halal? That's the third question.
Only smoking? What was the first thing?
The niswar, Sheikh.
What is that?
Niswar, the ones that you put in your mouth, and then you feel a little, like same like smoking, but you put the thing in your mouth and
Okay.
I don't know exactly. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will,
Like
inshallah.
before-
I will answer your question, inshallah. Abu Muhammad has a question. Abu Muhammad, Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh. Good evening.
Wa alaikum salam. Good evening to you. Listen to me from the phone, please.
Okay, inshallah. Ya Sheikh, I have a question regarding the hours of the last day.
Okay.
I have heard a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said that there will be a fitna in which a person should not get involved in.
Okay.
So my question is, when this fitna comes and you should not get involved in it at all, you should not even raise your hand to,
Okay.
to defend yourself. That's according to the hadith, the way I understood it. What about the hadith that says you should defend yourself when someone, attacks you? How do you bring the two together?
Okay.
That's my question.
I will answer your question, inshallah. Brother Saad from the Emirates, he has 3 questions. Question number 1. What about the missed prayers at the time of ignorance, before I started practicing? Can I make them up? The answer is no. Because you abandoned prayer without a legitimate reason. And only if you sleep or you forget a prayer, you're allowed to make it up as soon as you remember it, as in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen, and others, Ibn Qayyim as well, said that if a person neglects a prayer deliberately, without any legitimate reason, then he cannot pray it. Because praying it after its time is equivalent to praying it before time. So if adhan al-dhuhr is after 10 minutes and I start praying dhuhr, it's not accepted. Likewise, if the asr prayer is being called and I didn't pray dhuhr, it is not acceptable unless there is a legitimate reason. He's asking about listening to music. It is forbidden. The ayat of the Quran, 3 places in the Quran, and the hadith of the Prophet, the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ are crystal clear, and the consensus of the 4 schools of thought. You're one of the followers of the 4 schools of thought. They all say that it is haram. Don't look at the ignorance and those who are sinful, filling the media, filling the satellite channels, filling the radio stations, and they are playing music as if it's norm. No, it's not. It is completely forbidden. But this is not the time to discuss it. Maybe if you call me, inshallah, on Friday or Saturday on Ask Huda, I will explain this more. Smoking is completely prohibited in Islam. Anything that harms your body is forbidden, and not the Muslim doctors. The non-Muslim doctors all agree that it is a main cause for strokes and for lung cancer and for so many other diseases. So it is completely forbidden. The siwar that he was talking about, I think he's talking about the dip or the chewing tobacco, whatever people put under the mouth. If it's tobacco, it has the same ruling, it's forbidden. If it's something else, we have to look whether it is harmful medically or not, and whether it gives a person a form of intoxication or putting him off. Okay, we have Nishi from Egypt. Nishi from Egypt. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I am Indian. I'm living in Egypt for last 3 months. Okay, I have a problem and I want to ask you in the light of Islam. Actually, I'm living in an apartment with an Egyptian girl. Alhamdulillah, she's been very, very kind to me and I was very good to her. But the apartment which I was living with her, it was not very clean apartment. It was very, very dirty. And I suffered a lot, and I was very sick. I had to go to the hospital, do my test and everything. But alhamdulillah, I'm better right now. This Ramadan is
Your line is breaking. This Ramadan is what? Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Aywa?
Hello?
Yes, this Ramadan is what?
Yeah. When Ramadan started, hello?
Yes.
So I decided to change my apartment. And after the Taraweeh of the night, I just decided, just before Taraweeh and after Taraweeh, I went looking for the house. And alhamdulillah, I got a very good, very clean apartment. And I called this friend of mine to tell her that I want to change, but unfortunately, I didn't get a number. I changed the apartment the next day when she was coming back to the old apartment. And I told her that I'm shifting. And I came back during Maghrib to talk to her that I'll be leaving. And this made her very angry, I don't know, this made her very angry from me. And I swear to Allah, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. But the reason I changed this apartment was because it was not clean. And in Ramadan, I had to be clean and better place to do my ibadah and be close to Allah and be in a good place, in a good atmosphere. This was my intention to leave the apartment. And I apologized, and I told her that I'm sorry if I hurt her, but she's very unkind to me. She's very rude to me.
So what is your action? What is your question, Ukhti? What's your question?
My question is that I'm feeling bad about it. Did I read a wrong thing and
okay,
hurt somebody?
I will answer you, inshallah. If it's this is no problem. Okay, Brother Muhammad from Saudi Arabia.
Hello?
Yes, bro.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Listen to me from the phone, please.
Sheikh, I read from your document that fasting and Quran will intercede on the day of judgment. Since I'm an Indian and my Arabic reading is very poor, so can I just I'm and moreover I'm the viewer of Huda TV. I am watching after Taraweeh, Dr. Salah Hussain and the other two sheikhs. So can is this okay? Is this will suffice?
Okay.
Listening to Quran and tafsir, will this suffice?
I will answer your question, inshallah. Sister Jasra from Emirates. Sister Jasra.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, my name is Zakira.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam to Allah.
Yeah, I want to ask you regarding money matters. Actually, when we go for shopping complexes and every Dubai shopping festivals, they give 100 grams of gold and we want some certain these things, no? So can we use that money? Does it come in the category of Maisir?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay, we will answer the questions we have, inshallah. Abu Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, he is asking about a fitna that the Prophet told us about, alayhi salatu wasalam. And we will come to mention this, inshallah, down the line. But just because this is related to the topic, the Prophet ﷺ instructed one of his companions that there will come a fitna. What is the meaning of a fitna? It's a tribulation. And what is meant by a tribulation? It's a severe calamity that tests the belief of a believer. So if war takes place, we are in a tribulation. If famine hits a place, this is a tribulation. If we have poverty, we have lack of food, like our brothers in Burma, this is a tribulation. So the Prophet is telling us about a tribulation where people fight one another and people are lost. So the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, in this case, do not join forces with anyone. And try to go to the mountains and take a herd of sheep eat and drink from this and stay away from all the people. The man said, if I am unable to do this, I don't have means. Then the Prophet said, go to your community where you originally came from. So this means you have to take sides, but take a sword of wood. In another narration, break your sword and stay in your home. And if someone comes and enters your home to kill you and you're afraid that the glare of the sword, when it reflects light, will blind you, put your garment over your head. This hadith is one in so many. So you cannot understand the hadith without reading the whole text. Likewise, you cannot come to one verse of the Quran and say, well, I abide by this verse without studying the rest of the verses, because it comes from Allah Azza wa Jal and it is perfect. It cannot contradict, it cannot conflict. So if you look, in short, if you look at all the other hadiths, you will understand that there is a situation when fighting is happening between two parties, for example. Like at the time of Ali and Muawiyah, may Allah be pleased with them both. They did not want to fight, but it was those under them who stirred things among the hypocrites, among the Jews who claimed to be Muslim, like Abdullah ibn Saba, the son of the Jew woman, and so on. So when the two armies approached each other, there were companions who did not know who was right and who was wrong. We all know that Ali was right. May Allah be pleased with him. But that does not mean that Muawiyah was corrupt, may Allah be pleased with him, or that something was wrong with him. No, he made the wrong choice. So there were companions such as Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Abdullah ibn Umar, and other great companions of the Prophet ﷺ who did not join forces with any of them. And they just left them because they did not know. There were companions who knew that Ali was right and they joined forces with him, such as Ammar ibn Yasir. So the scholars say that if you are in a situation where you don't know who's right and who's wrong, it's a calamity, it's a tribulation, it's a fitna. In this case, you should refrain from joining forces or contributing to the fight. Now, if someone breaks into my house and wants to kill me, the scholars say this is a different situation, because in this case, there is another hadith that states that if someone wants to take your money, you have to fight him. And if he fights you, you have to fight him back. And if he kills you, you'll go to paradise. And if you kill him, he'll go to hell. So do not surrender, do not give away what's your own, your property, your house. But when you look at this hadith and the other hadith, you remember and you realize that the hadith of not defending yourself, this is an exaggeration. Because other hadiths told us that you should defend yourself, but not to go out of your house and to fight the assailants or to the oppressors, and to go out of your way, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Nishi from Egypt, she is complaining that she had a roommate and the apartment they were living in was so dirty, maybe her roommate was not taking care of it or so. So she thought of moving somewhere else that is clean, and she found that. And now her roommate is furious and she's angry and she doesn't want to talk to her. That's her problem. You are not bound by any contract to live with that girl, your roommate. Whenever you want to move, you move. This is your God-given right. She has no right to be angry. Maybe she would be angry because she did not prepare herself financially or whatever, but this does not call for her anger to be so extreme, and you should not feel so bad about it. You just may leave and move on. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, he's asking about the hadith he read in one of the articles on my website, the authentic hadith, that the Prophet said that Sawm and the Quran, both the Quran and fasting, will intercede on the Day of Judgment. And they'll keep on interceding at the side of Allah until Allah accepts their intercession. So the Quran would say, oh Allah, I have prevented him from sleeping at night because he used to recite the Quran while praying. And the fasting would say, oh Allah, I've prevented him from enjoying life, from eating and drinking and his desires that nullify fasting. So Allah accept our intercession, and Allah Azza wa Jal would do that. So the brother Sister Jamila from Singapore.
Yes.
Yes, sister, what can I do for you?
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Ramadan Mubarak.
And Mubarak to you and to the whole ummah.
Ameen. I want to ask regarding breastfeeding and fasting.
Okay.
I have a daughter, 1 year old. I can't fast because it decreases my breast milk. Do I have to make it up, or do I just pay fidya for the fasting?
Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you. No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazak. So, Brother Muhammad from Saudi Arabia is asking, okay, if I don't know how to read Arabic, and a lot of the expats don't know to read Arabic, what to do? First of all, you have to learn Arabic. You have to try your level best to learn Arabic, at least that allows you to read the Quran. Because without Arabic, you are depending on me. You're depending on XYZ, a da'i, a scholar, and you're depending on his interpretation of the Quran or of the Sunnah. When you know Arabic, you have this ability yourself. So when I say something, you say, no, this word does not mean what you have thought it meant. So I do encourage all Muslims who do not speak Arabic to learn Arabic. Go out of your way to learn Arabic. This draws you far, far closer to Allah, much closer to Allah Azza wa Jal when you know Arabic. Second of all, if you do not know Arabic, then Allah says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah to the best of your ability, which means, if I don't know Arabic, how can I get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal? You can listen to the Quran. So listening and watching the Quran being recited in Huda channel, in any other channel, this is good. This gives you reward. One would say, but I don't understand it. Well, this will come inshallah through time. Also, you can read the meaning of the translation of the meaning of the Quran. Because you do not know Arabic, this is the second best. So you ponder upon that, you learn from that, and you practice it in your lives. And inshallah, by this. Okay, Muhammad, the last caller, inshallah. Yes, brother.
Okay, Muhammad, the last caller, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sir,
Yes.
will listening to Quran suffice its recitation equally, especially during Ramadan? Does evil sight affect non-living things also? How should we avoid it when it is affected?
Can you repeat your question, Muhammad? Are you talking about listening to the Quran?
Does evil sight affect non-living things also? If so, how should we avoid it when it is affected?
The evil side? What do you mean by evil side?
The evil side? What do you mean by evil side?
Nazar.
Okay.
Nazar.
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah. I'm told that we have only 3 minutes to go, so that was the last caller. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia. We have answered his question, alhamdulillah, which means that you have to try your level best to learn Arabic. If not, try to read Arabic. If not, then listen to the Quran, and you can read also from the translation of the meaning of the Holy Quran. Jashra from the Emirates, she's saying that in Dubai, when we go to shopping malls and festivals, they give us vouchers. So is this permissible or not? First of all, no one would give you a voucher for nothing. Meaning that if I enter a mall and I don't buy a thing, no one would give me anything. So they would give you this voucher, or they would give you this coupon in order, if you buy like 500 to 1,000 dirham worth of merchandise. And then they would give you this coupon, and then there is a draw after 6 months, 5 months, and there's a Porsche, or there's some beautiful other cars. So is this considered to be part of maisir, gambling? Yes, it is. Any kind of lottery is considered to be gambling, because you did not go to that specific mall, you did not buy this specific amount except with your intention to enter in this draw, and this is completely forbidden, and you should not do this. However, if I go to an XYZ shop with the intention of buying something, an item, And this is my only intention. And when I bought it, they said, okay, you are deserving to get this coupon, and there will be a draw in a month's time. And I took it and I left. And a month later, I won. This is permissible for me to take because my intention was to buy this item and not to be involved in this lottery. Sister, give me 1 minute. Sister Jamila is asking about breastfeeding and fasting. If you cannot fast, then you may break your fast. But after Ramadan is over, you have to make up for these days without any fidya. And you don't feed. You don't have to feed. And it's wrong to feed without fasting. So you have to only make up for the days. Muhammad is asking about evil eye, the nadra, coming to abstract things, something that is unalive. This is possible. Someone could see you drive your car and say, wow, what a beautiful car, and you have 4 flat tires. So what to do? You have to maintain the adhkar in the morning and the evening, which includes these adhkar, a form of protection for yourself, for your children, for your wealth, and for your property. And I'm afraid that this is all the time we have. Until we meet you tomorrow, same time, inshallah, same topic. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Ya Wasi al-Karami. Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious.